it is really, the fucking Flappy Bird effect, where random shit can become popular because the internet. Like, nothing more than that.
The thing that a lot of people are missing is how influential this guy was. Countless people broadly around my age, watched this guy back 10, 11 years ago and said, hey, I can do this. He didn't have a great camera in the very early days, obviously, and he didn't have good lighting, and he was just in his bedroom there. But it's like, yeah, I can do this. This is amusing. He's got a good sense of humor most of the time. You can tell he's kind of improving. It really works, and it was really fun to watch. And I've definitely rewatched all of his early videos, mainly Kickstarter crap. And I see this comment that I wrote 5 years ago. If we could turn back time to the good old days. Nobody likes that comment because a lot of people still liked Ian. In fact, there was a lot of people starting to discover iDubbbz around 5 years ago. And that's what I hear everybody bring up when anybody asks, who is this guy and why does anybody even care? Why does anybody care about him? Oh, content cop. It was always such an event. They were such great videos. Yeah, that's when it was starting to be more about YouTube drama stuff. And yeah, he was good at it. I wasn't that into that. I liked the investigative nature of his early stuff, calling out people who we could say e-beggars, people who put low effort into trying to get money off of people on the internet. Low effort. Maybe once in a while there was something he covered where it might have been an outright fraudulent Kickstarter campaign. That's really interesting, and also another kind of influential or long-lasting effect that iDubbbz has had on the internet at large is critiquing that back then what was a new and emerging thing, online crowdfunding campaigns. And yeah, as the internet became more and more of a tool that people wanted to use to make fast and easy money, it was an important reality check for people to be reminded that no, ultimately you're going to need to put effort into anything that you want to do for money. And that was an ongoing theme in a lot of Ian's early videos.
I don't think I'm gonna do this. Wanna know why? Because it's hard, it's difficult, it costs money, and time is money, and this guy has a deficit of both.
It's an open world MMO that is based at a post-apocalyptic time it starts off with one main city. Within the city, you cannot build, you cannot do anything. This is a completely NPC-run city.
A completely NPC-run city. Sounds like Toronto. Sorry.
So you can carry all your stuff in just one trip.
Locking tie-down bungees, yeah, I foresee those bungees breaking in 1 to 2 trips. You guys are gonna see me saying this a lot in this video. The shit's just gonna break. It's just gonna break, and when it's done breaking, you're gonna be down $185 and be like, probably shouldn't have spent that much on a cooler. Probably shouldn't have spent that much on a Swiss Army cooler that is about potato salad. I'm making potato salad. That's all it says, and in the title it says potato salad. It shows a picture of potato salad, doesn't have a video, and the reward tiers are probably the most, I guess, nice part about this Kickstarter project. One of the reward tiers is legitimately offering a bite of the potato salad. It sort of remains to be seen how that's going to be delivered, but I'd imagine just like a little shot glass sized container.
Like a lot of people obsessing or whatever, a lot of people following the drama about him and Anissa who don't know who he is. Yeah, you kind of missed out. The thing I'll say though, if you've been into a band or something or a TV show for many, many years, and it's been influential on a lot of other shows or musicians, and people didn't know that, and then you try to get them to go back and watch. It seems old hat. It seems kind of like, yeah, whatever, been there, done that. Like, doesn't feel original, even if it was. It doesn't land the same way. I can sit here and watch a whole bunch of his old content and still laugh, and I could say, don't you see the appeal? Don't you see? But I'm not going to tell you to go back and watch. I mean, a lot of it is no longer amusing. A lot of it is very dated, sure. But back in the day, it was huge. It was inspirational. It was funny. Yeah, inspirational. It sounds so highfalutin or whatever. But Yeah, for a lot of us it was.
The one reason it's hard to call it crap is because it's successful.
Here's the thing that's kind of frustrating me as I'm making this video. I'm trying to scroll through and find the ones that I rewatched multiple times over the years because there were moments, there were phrases that I would quote to friends or that would come up or that were just so funny. I'm having a hard time finding them. Part of the problem is his lousy ass thumbnails. What was this one about? What was that one about? And again, I haven't rewatched any of these old videos for about 5 years because I just, you move on. And I gotta wonder, did he remove some of the best ones? Some of the ones where he was most venomous and most acerbic, shall we say? He might have. That would be in line with his character arc. Ian's character arc lately, after he finally lost his virginity to a woman and married her. There's the scuttlebutt on that. There's got to be one here where I would keep coming back to it. I remember when he stopped, or he drew back on doing Kickstarter crap and he started doing just unboxing, and that already I was starting to lose interest. You lazy content that everybody else is doing, but maybe doing it better. He's rode a lot of trends like that over the years, and he's coasted on his personality. I'm just realizing that. So what's he doing now? I guess as you get older and older, you have to change with the times, but you can make the mistake of misjudging what young people want to see, and you're trying to stay relevant. I don't know. And I think there's something to be said for some head trauma and stuff. I don't know. He's really changed, and he's not coasting on his personality anymore. So many of us who loved him back in the day or found him inspirational in some sense or whatever, now it's just like, oh man, I'm not going to get into what he's become. I'm trying to look back.
I'm here to promote what possibly could be my YouTube channel. It's going to be called Classy Gentleman Gaming.
Why the fuck is it that every goddamn unclassy, ungentlemanlike person on the planet chooses naming schemes like Classy Gentleman Gaming, Dapper Gent, Monocle in Eye Gaming? That's not who the fuck you are.
This is definitely one that I remember. The guy does his Kickstarter campaign video. He looks like he hasn't even had a shower. Yeah, calling out that thing of minimal effort and thinking if you just put something up on the internet, it's going to get you money. Yeah, this is for me, iDubbbz at his best, calling that crap out.
In your room, constantly breathing into the mic and be like, this is Classy Gentleman Gaming, everyone.
Now, I'm thinking movies, tech, latest events, reaction videos. I want the whole spectrum. Obviously, this is not a one-guy job. I want to build a community, pick from that community the capable and willing combatants, and then have them in my council.
Combatants? Council? Maybe he thinks that he's classy gentleman because he uses words like combatants when he shouldn't. Yeah, they're gonna be combating for position. You're gonna have people fucking fight to the death.
Life has given me a shit hand. I travel around about 139 mile a day.
Yeah. Let's hear about how life gave you a shit hand, you dumb motherfucker. We don't want to hear this shit. This is a common mantra from the e-beggars. I had a bad start. Just life was unfair to me. There's a lot of people out there that life is unfair to. But there's a lot of people who somehow get past it without having to beg for money.
Aside from the truth bombs and the reality checks, what was also motivational, maybe I overused the word inspirational in terms of iDubbbz, but what was also motivational was you could tell how often he was just going on a rant in a naturalistic and authentic way. I mean, I wanted to point out other classic moments in my mind, what were classic moments on his channel, and that doesn't include anything from the past 5 years for sure. And when he hooked up with those Australian guys and Filthy Frank, and his content started to get more anarchic and surreal, I would say in the vein of people that grew up watching Jackass and that kind of humor. that stuff started to turn me off. I like surreal and anarchic and random and all that, but when Ian was doing it, it was like, what? It's like a totally different person. This isn't why I was watching his channel, but it's still Ian, so you get this sense of loyalty or fealty or whatever, and I'm sure even till today there's many people who love his newest content, even despite all the changes that he's gone through. When I found out that Anissa was Canadian, I was like, oh, that tracks. That tracks. I'm not going to get into that. You know, tell me what you think about her being the Yoko Ono to his John Lennon, or I don't know. Like I was saying, though, well before he hooked up with her and she took his virginity or whatever, well before that, I just started to slowly draw back from his content. Maybe it's because I'm so obsessed with like investigative stuff, and some of you know my educational background and my aspirations and everything, and the critical thinking and investigating and calling out frauds or people who are just grossly negligent in terms of various things, and they think that they are owed money despite that. I love all that stuff. That's why I was so attracted to Ian, and I think that's really still very relevant, and maybe ironic. There's people saying things about his him and Anissa with the cut they were gonna take, the monies from the creator clash thing. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to make any allegations. That's one thing, especially my most recent education, but so you always kind of knew this, is the problem of proving intent. So don't make allegations of fraud if it's not really clear that there's intent. And I don't think there's clearly any intent to defraud anybody on Ian and Anissa's part, but yeah, I also kind of hate that. The importance and relevance of proving intent. Well, what about criminal negligence? And anyways, let's not get into it. No, the whole thing with charities and stuff, and well, people taking advantage of nonprofit and charitable sorts of initiatives in order to make money that they don't really deserve. That's what the early iDubbbz was about. That's what Kickstarter crap was about. And what was it? Indiegogo excrement or whatever the other one was that he had for a while. That's why I and a lot of people care that iDubbbz really sucks now, or that's why he's a person worth talking about. That's why he's a person people care about, because he's had a long-standing and important presence on this platform. And I'd say, in effect, from a broader perspective on the whole internet in terms of crowdsource, crowdfunding, whatever. And, well, anyways, what am I thinking about all this? You know, it's, today is a day, that one time a year when you start to really think about how things change as you get older. Yeah, it's that day. So, Ian's getting older. He peaked. He's a millionaire. I don't feel bad if people, you know, I'm not sticking up for him and saying don't criticize him. He's a millionaire. He's peaked. He's done well. He should probably just kind of gracefully back away or rethink how he's trying to reinvent himself or whatever. Who am I to give advice? I'm nobody, right? Like, share, subscribe, definitely comment. Argue with me in the comments.